Disney World food can be absolutely amazing, but it also can be pretty expensive. So we are here in Epcot to see if we can eat for an entire day for less than $50. So yes, we're gonna attempt to eat for less than $50 all day, but there is a catch. We actually have to eat 3 full meals, no kid meals, 1 breakfast, a lunch, and a dinner, and one of those meals actually has to be seated with a waiter, and I have to get a snack. But we're gonna show you some pretty amazing eats, and we're not gonna break the bank, so I'm pretty excited. Now, when it comes to Disney food, Epcot is well known for being the best food in Disney World, and I think it is the most diverse options. You're gonna have something for picky eaters and non-picky eaters alike, and there's a lot of stuff that you maybe would never have had outside of Epcot unless you were traveling the real world. So we're gonna travel to Epcot World today. We're gonna go back to France to get started. We are here in the France Pavilion near the International Gateway, and we are going to head into Les Halles. This is called Les Halles Boulangerie Patisserie, and this is where you're going to find the best French baked goods in all of Epcot, maybe Disney World. It's absolutely fantastic. We love coming back here, but it does get pretty popular, so sometimes, especially around breakfast and lunch, be prepared for a little bit of a line. La Patisserie does not have a ton of indoor seating, although there is some, but be a little bit prepared to kind of hang out here at the standing tables or at the standing bar or theme today. This is the quiche Lorraine. It's ham, Gruyere cheese, and it's all in a deliciously flaky quiche filling, all for $6.50. Now, this is not the only thing that you can grab here. They also have quiche Florentine. They have tons and tons of pastries and sandwiches, and I chose to get mine heated. Delicious filling. Cheers. It's fantastic. It's not moist or anything like that. It's really peppery though. That's the main flavor coming forward, which I really like because it cuts through the saltiness of the ham and the cheese. It's just really aromatic, really, really lovely. One of my favorite things to get here. I also have been obsessed with the apricot pastry lately. Absolutely fantastic. My number one thing that I love to get here is the lobster bisque in a bread bowl. But I think you cannot go wrong for breakfast, lunch, or dinner at this spot. Now, breakfast around Epcot is kind of few and far between. There is not a ton of options over here. This one absolutely being the best in my opinion. You can also stop by Connections Eatery, which is the Starbucks, because they do have the breakfast sandwiches but not the egg bites, and you can grab it with your coffee as well. Or Sunshine Seasons, which is one of my favorite spots, has a nice little breakfast spread. It's not a ton of options. I think this one is the most exciting. This one's the most robust, but those also exist. If you're down for a pastry breakfast, you could also go to Kringla Bakery over in Norway and grab some school bread, which will help keep you in that shopping budget. We're gonna kind of be paying attention because the school bread is delicious and not too pricey. All right, for lunch, we are back towards the front of the park. We are here in World Nature to go to one of my favorite spots when it comes to quick service dining in Disney. We're going inside the Land. Now, the Land actually has a fantastic table service as well called Garden Grill. It is a character dining spot here in the Land. It is absolutely delicious. The restaurant itself actually rotates. It is so much fun, but because it's character dining, it is on the pricier side, so it's not gonna be all right. This is the woman of the hour. This is Sunshine Seasons. Again, this is a quick service you can find down here in the Land, and I really love it because there are so many options of food that you can get in this spot. They do have some sweet treats, but you can also find things like the roasted beef sandwich, birria tacos, which we're gonna be trying out, stir-fried chicken. They have salmon and roasted chicken, lots of fun options, and this is a great spot when your family cannot decide on what they want, but y'all don't wanna go to multiple spots. 9 times out of 10, everybody can find a little something here. Now, the thing I'm going to be grabbing today is the birria tacos, and I'm super pumped because I've actually not tried these before. Now, the birria tacos are made with beef Monterey Jack, onion, cilantro, and lime, served with a consommé, all for $9.99. So if they're as good as they look, we might be getting a great deal. Typically that's what I get when I'm trying to save a little cash. I could talk about how much I love this spot for hours, but I won't do that to you. Alrighty, here they are. This is the birria tacos, again, beef Monterey Jack. And there's 3 little kind of seared birria tacos, and then on the side is where you're gonna get your cilantro and your onions and your lime and your consommé. So that way, if you are more of a picky eater and you really just want like beef and cheese, you can just get beef and cheese. That's so good. You don't have to have the whole thing. If you're looking to fall on a budget, this is a great shareable option, but also there's enough to get you full. As always, when it comes to money saving around Disney World, you have to be a little bit more intentional with it. If you're not paying attention, that's when the bills really start to rack up. But if Sunshine Seasons is not your digs, you're not really interested in this, or if you're in another area of the park, there are a lot of other options. Regal Eagle has some great, delicious quick service eats that are not too expensive for what you're getting. Another great option that I actually prefer doing is eating at the festival booths. Now these are going to be not quite as expensive as a full entree, but also they're not going to be as large as a full entree like we're having right now. But I personally like eating as many bites of things as possible. I want to try as much as I can, and doing that through festival booth is going to be your best option. La Cantina over in the Mexico Pavilion is wonderful, especially the kids' meals. They are great portion sizes, especially for the falling under budget options. And then Connections Eatery has some great options as well. My favorite free water tip is here at Epcot in Sunshine Seasons. You can actually get the tall cups and do refillable water. It's free, and it's, I think, a lot nicer to be able to get a large free water than just a tiny one, because you can take it with you. And we love to grab drinks over here and then take them and get in line for Soarin' or in line for Living with the Land and just kind of sip on them. This is the best free water you can get in Epcot. All right, after a delicious lunch that I'm actually so excited about, I can see that being in my new Epcot rotation as far as snacks and food goes. I think it's time for one of my favorite Epcot snacks that we actually don't get a lot. And I don't know why, because every time we get it, we have this look of like, why are we not eating this more? I'm very excited, but it's gonna be a little bit of a walk, so I'll see you all over in Germany. All right, we have made it into Germany. Now, I wish we were doing Biergarten for dinner, but we are not. That's not our best budget-friendly option you can find in these parts. But the best snack budget-friendly option you can find is gonna be here at Summerfest. Summerfest is a quick service that you're gonna find some brats and some beer. But there is one thing. All right, this is it. This is the pretzel bread pudding. And oh my Lanta. This thing is absolutely insane. It's to die for. I'm so excited. And pretty much I've said all of the ingredients, so we're just gonna get into it. You can see the inside. Literally delicious. Cheers. I think this is one of the best bread puddings in Disney World. Sorry, Ohana. Yours is still amazing. But this is right up my alley. It is the perfect bite size. It's less than $5, and it's still a pretty massive portion for that. It is so moist, but it's not falling apart, it's not gooey or anything. The caramel is just absolutely incredible. I genuinely think this is one of the best snacks in all of Epcot, not just because of the price, but the price elevates it. But this is absolutely incredible. Some of my favorite budget-friendly options are the pork egg rolls that you can grab over in China. The guacamole at Chose de Margarita is absolutely delicious, and you get a ton for what you pay. It's one of my favorite snacks, especially if you're first starting and you want to start drinking. Grab some of that and your margarita. It's to die for. Also here in Germany, the caramel butter bar is incredibly famous. Now I'll be totally transparent and say I do not like it. It is not my favorite, but I am one of the only people in the world, I think, that feel that way. It's just a little bit too oily and buttery for my taste, but AJ from Disney Food Blog famously loves and dies by this treat, so does Quincy, and it's very budget friendly as well. My main point when it comes to snacking in Epcot is you can do no wrong. There's very few things that you can do wrong with. Even if I don't like it, or AJ from Disney Food Blog, or whoever doesn't like it, and you like it, get the snack. And now for dinner, we are in France, and we are going here to Les Chefs de France, one of my favorite spots, just out of vibes alone. We have so much fun. Okay, I was just seated. I'm so excited. I could not tell you the last time I was here. Probably with Breedlove. Years ago we came and had so much fun. I absolutely loved it. This is a gorgeous restaurant. It's sitting here in the France Pavilion, and one room is basically just a window wall, and so when it comes time for fireworks at the end of the night, this is an absolutely gorgeous view. Now, of course, this spot is going to be sporting some French cuisine, but they actually have a prix-fixe menu as well. If you're interested, you could do it for $65. It's one appetizer, you get one entree, one dessert, and then you actually get an alcoholic beverage, which for Disney World, that's a pretty good deal. And that is actually a part of the Disney dining plan if that's something you're interested in as well. And maybe not to totally break the bank, because that is super easy to do at a table service in Disney World. Now, just like all Disney restaurants, they are going to bring out some bread before we start chowing down, but they gave us some sea salt butter, and it is a fresh baguette. This looks absolutely to die for, and I think it's gonna have that nice crunch sound that you hear in the Ratatouille movie. Butter on it. Nice and fluffy. For my entree, I ended up going with the ratatouille. It's ratatouille served on quinoa with kale and tomato. This is $25.95. This is the plant-based entree cut. And this is what he's getting for his entree. This is obviously not included in our budget, but this is an appetizer. This is the French onion soup. It is $13.95. Just for context, that's about the size of my hand. This is significantly bigger than I thought. And I think if you are looking to have a really nice meal and just enjoy a little bit of something but not break the bank, this is a great option. I did not end up doing that for my entree because technically it's an appetizer and we have to get, for our rules, we have to get an entree. But I think that that could count. So warm. You can't see it, but the steam is coming off. Delicious. It got a little bit loud in there, so I don't want to give my taste notes, just so that way you can hear me a little bit more easily. But the ratatouille was absolutely delicious. It was so light and bright and flavorful. The acidity of the tomato was incredible, but then it was brought down a little bit by the rest of the quinoa and everything. Typically, I don't love quinoa. I feel like there's not a ton of flavor there, but the way that they had mixed it in with the kale and the rest of the absolutely bright and delicious vegetables, this was wonderful. I'm not a plant-based eater, and I absolutely loved it. If you're looking for something that's a greater healthy option or just more filling, but you don't want to necessarily get the heaviest meat or protein they have, this one was delicious. The French onion soup was also very, very, very good. Overall though, when it comes to dining in Disney, anytime that you're trying to make a plan or be a little bit more financially conscious, kind of look ahead at the menus. That's my number one piece of advice. Make a plan before you sit down, because I know that I'm really bad about being super, super hungry, finding something that looks delicious, and then suddenly I've spent $50 on a meal that I may or may not like that much, and then that's just the one entree, that it's nothing else. And it's because I'm starving and I'm not paying attention and I didn't make a plan. But just kind of pre-planning what your spending goals are and just being aware of your stops and what you're going to be doing throughout the entire week and not just one day is going to be so, so helpful in helping you maintain a budget and not just go too willy-nilly when you're here in Disney. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, and a snack have been completed. If you're interested in anything like the Disney dining plan and how that kind of works, that is a whole different subject, but it can help you save a little bit of money if you're being aware of it. I have a full video of that up on the channel right now if you want to check it out, but overall, this is going to be the best way for you to save money in Epcot, finding the delicious options that are a little bit on the cheaper side. In the end, I spent $47.23, and when it comes to sit-down dining, you can also head over to Coral Reef or even Nine Dragons Restaurant for something even cheaper than what I had, but frankly, out of all of those options, I preferred Chefs de France, and I knew that I could come over here and still be under budget, because we pre-planned, y'all. So just like that, super, super easy, and we actually could have saved even more money if we had been even more conscious. So if you guys like this video, go ahead and like and subscribe. Now go check out how to eat in Magic Kingdom for under $50. I'll see you over there.